This project brings together Puerto Rican percussionist Carlos Maldonado and the British Bahraini trumpeter and composer Yazz Ahmed, with the view to premiere a new work composed by Yaz, which she composed especially for this occasion. I commissioned the work to Yaz, and my instructions were quite simple. I wanted her to compose a work that would draw on both her heritage as well as that of Carlos.
I think I see myself as a musician who is very open-minded and likes to explore. For example, my music is a mixture of Arabic music and jazz, and it reflects my mixed heritage, which is something I'm really proud of. And because I've taken a long journey to find my own voice, and I've also worked with lots of different types of musicians from all genres, yeah, it's kind of developed into something I think quite unique.
Meeting with many students from different backgrounds of music, share my experience and how I approach about my instrument, my culture, my folkloric background from the Caribbean, how I implement the music of Puerto Rico, the music of Cuba, the music of Dominican Republic. And I explained them a little bit of the Afro-Latin term that people made the mistake of saying, let's play some Latin music, and then Latin music can be anything. But we have Latin music in Argentina, tango, Cuba, you have the rumba, Puerto Rico, bomba, plena, Dominican Republic, merengue, so on. And it's important for me that the students know the difference, that they say Latin and they think about only one country in particular.
It's been eye-opening for me to work with the students at the university. So we did a few workshops together where we worked on my piece of music, and we sort of got really deep into the music and how to bring the dots to life. I hope that what they got out of my piece was to open their ears to new sounds, so new scales and new rhythms, and also how to improvise. You know, with jazz music, improvisation is the core, you know, of the genre. With Arabic music, it's quite, it's modal. So how do we bring these two types of genres together?
Having been part of this project has been really cool because I've learned a lot more about jazz fusion than I had before. I think I knew a bit about jazz, but especially with Yaz's piece, having played stuff that's sort of jazz and like Middle Eastern fusion has been really cool, especially as someone with like Middle Eastern background, as an Iranian. It's been a lot of fun and really great, and learning about sort of like Latin American jazz and stuff like that has been a lot of fun.
Yes, it was a really fascinating insight into a non-Western perspective on jazz music, and the sort of, as a drummer, the focus on rhythm was really interesting, such as learning the cascara and the 2-3 clav rhythms.
Playing jazz before this ensemble for me was just a group of 5 of us just picking a standard and figuring it out, but it's really specific, this music, and there's a lot more. You have to listen to everyone, and especially in the hall, it's a big space, so you're using different skills, and it's just a different style, a completely different style. But I guess jazz, there are so many different styles in different parts of the world where it's got its own traditions, so it's been really good.
I could chat about what jazz is for ages, I can't lie, but I don't know. A friend of mine, Binka Golden, told me recently that birds have been, it's been scientifically proven that birds sing for enjoyment. And birds have existed way before humans have existed. So therefore music's existed way before we've existed. So, and jazz, I feel like, is whatever reason they're having fun doing that.
The fellows worked with our students as well as attended one workshop each at the Stanley Grove Academy here in Manchester, during which both Yaz and Carlos they taught their own approach about jazz to the students. The students absolutely loved them, and it's certainly something to repeat again next year.
Doing music with a person like Yazz and me and Alex and the students, it's like bringing 3 or 4 cultures together and making a new sound that nobody probably heard before. And it's making new music, new art, avant-garde music from different cultures, and hopefully we can create a new thing.
So this piece, Zaha, firstly it's dedicated and named after the wonderful British Iraqi architect designer Zaha Hadid. And she's a great influence actually just for this piece. I started by studying some of her sketches and the buildings that she created, and I would look at these images and improvise on my trumpet and record these sounds that I made and little melodies, and I'd write them down. And yeah, the music kind of developed from those kind of emotional reactions. And then because of this project, I had to think about the students, how to write for the students and the guests, you know, Carlos. So I had to add a kind of a Cuban feel to it as well. So I spliced in some Cuban styles along with the Iraqi grooves that I thought would reflect Zaha being from Iraq. So yeah, so I've kind of created a piece that is very kind of personal to me, but also outward looking, thinking about the students and the guests.